Welcome to the channel Masters of Consciousness. In today's episode, we will delve into the world of one of the greatest masters of the human psyche and spirituality, Carl Gustav Jung. He is a figure whose reflections, discoveries, and spiritual depth continue to inspire millions of people toward inner transformation and a deeper understanding of themselves. Today, we will try to extract from his teachings what is most important, most timeless, and most helpful in our daily lives. At the center of his reflections was always the individual, their inner world, dreams, archetypes, the unconscious, and above all, the process of becoming oneself. This process was considered the main goal of life. It was not about being perfect according to some external pattern, but about finding your fullness within, understanding and integrating all parts of yourself, both the enlightened and the dark. At the core of this approach lies the concept of the shadow, that part of our psyche which we most often do not want to see. We repress it, even hide it from ourselves. Yet, it is precisely there, in the shadow, that our greatest strengths, emotions, and potential are often found. The shadow is not evil. It is simply unconscious. Only when a person dares to look into their darkness can they truly grow. The second key element of his philosophy was the recognition of the existence of what he called the collective unconscious. It is a psychological space that does not belong only to the individual, but to all of humanity. Archetypes are found there, universal patterns, symbols, and stories that recur across all cultures and eras. Mother, hero, sage, shadow. These figures exist both in mythology, religion, and in the dreams of every person. Understanding these archetypes allows for a better understanding of oneself and others. His approach to dreams was also exceptional. Dreams were not meaningless images for him, but messages from a deeper part of our being. He believed that it was the language of the soul, subtle symbols that guide us toward integration and healing. Instead of interpreting dreams according to rigid patterns, he learned to listen to them with humility and curiosity. An important aspect of this deep inner work was what he called the process of individuation. It is nothing other than the path to discovering one's true nature, to becoming oneself in the full sense of the word. It was not an easy or quick path. It required courage, patience, and readiness to confront what is uncomfortable. But it was also the most valuable path, because it led to inner freedom and a profound sense of life. Individuation meant integrating all aspects of the psyche, ego, shadow, anima or animus, up to the archetype of the self, the symbol of our fullness. He believed that a person can achieve true peace and fulfillment only when they do not deny any part of themselves, but learn to understand and harmonize them. In this context, spirituality was also extremely important, but not one based on dogmas and external rules. It was more about a deep, personal experience of something greater than ourselves. This could be a relationship with God, nature, life, or one's own soul. It did not matter what one called it. The only thing that mattered was not to lose contact with this higher reality, which guides a person through life like an inner compass. He also spoke about the necessity of balance between the external and internal worlds. According to him, modern man has focused too much on the material world, technology, scientific achievements, and has forgotten about the soul. After all, without contact with the inner world, life becomes shallow and lacking in depth. Only by connecting these two worlds, external and internal, can true humanity be found. His teachings remind us that we are not just mind or just body. We are also a soul, complex, mysterious, and profound. Every crisis, every suffering, every life difficulty can be a path to growth if approached with courage and awareness. It is not about avoiding pain, but about understanding what this pain is trying to tell us. In this sense, every wound is also a gateway to greater awareness, wisdom, and compassion. In the center of this inner path, there is also a relationship with one's own ego. Ego, that is our conscious identity, is necessary. It allows us to function in the world, make decisions, achieve goals, But if the ego begins to dominate and separates from the deeper layers of the psyche, then a person starts living in illusion, losing contact with who they really are. Working on oneself, therefore, does not mean destroying the ego, but civilizing it, teaching it to listen to the soul, intuition, internal symbols. An important role is also played here by intuition, ability that many of us ignore or suppress. Yet it is precisely intuition that allows a person to reach hidden truths about themselves and the world. Intuition is not based on logic or analysis. It is an inner feeling that guides us in accordance with a deeper order of things. It was taught that trusting this part of oneself is the key to spiritual maturity. One of the greatest messages of his teachings was that every life has meaning, that we are not a random collection of atoms, but beings who came here to develop, learn, experience, and become more conscious. Every difficulty, every relationship, every challenge, these are not obstacles but lessons. The more a person can see meaning even in suffering, the more they grow internally. In this philosophy, it was not about escaping pain, suppressing difficult emotions, or pretending that everything is okay. It was about going inward, not fearing one's own wounds, because it is often through them that the way is shown. A wound is the place where light enters inside. These are not just beautiful words. They are a deep psychological truth. Within these wounds lies the potential for healing, for transforming what is weak into strength, what is painful into wisdom. Inner life, with all its mysteries, was not an escape from reality for him, but its deepest layer. It is precisely there that the answers are found, which are futile to seek outside. Only a person who knows themselves, who has delved into their psyche, can truly love, create, understand others, and build a more humane world. One of the greatest wisdoms that flow from these teachings is the reminder that every person carries within not only questions, but also answers. In a world full of noise, opinions, and external authorities, it is easy to forget that the most important signposts are hidden in the silence of one's own interior. Therefore, it is worth occasionally stepping away from external things and asking oneself, who am I really? What am I trying to hide? Where does my life lead me? It's not about creating a better version of yourself, but about discovering the one that already exists within you, authentic, full, sometimes covered with the dust of everyday life, fear, and doubts. This entire inner process is not an end in itself. It is a path to a more conscious, profound life, in which a person not only experiences but understands, creates, shares, and loves from a place of truth. This path is not easy for everyone, but not everyone is ready to hear the truth about themselves. However, those who undertake this effort often discover that the greatest treasures are hidden where they were previously afraid to look. Over time, a new quality of life emerges: greater peace, self-trust, deeper relationships with others, and the awareness that everything has its meaning, even if it is not always immediately understandable. It is worth remembering that every person is a story, unique, profound, and sacred, and that the meaning of this story is not to be perfect, but to be authentic. When a person accepts their imperfections, their shadows and lights, then they truly become free. This is precisely the essence of the teachings we discussed today. They are not just theories or psychological models. They are living, practical tools for deep inner transformation. If you start applying them, even in small steps, over time you will begin to notice changes, not only in yourself but also in the world around you. Thank you for being with us today. If you feel that what you heard has stirred something within you, we invite you to future episodes. On the channel Masters of Consciousness, we will continue to explore paths of development, wisdom, and spiritual awakening together. Subscribe, leave a comment, share this material with loved ones, and remember that the greatest journeys begin in the silence of the heart. See you soon.